The U.S. Intrepid glided silently through the dark space near Jupiter's orbit. Captain Diana Morris stood at the bridge's main viewport, her hands clasped behind her back as she watched the gas giant's swirling storms. The massive battleship, Earth's newest pride, carried enough firepower to level a continent. Yet today, its mission was peaceful, investigating strange energy readings near Jupiter's moon Europa. Captain, Lieutenant Robert Hayes called from his sensor station, his voice tense. "We're picking up something big. Really big." Diana turned, her boots clicking on the polished deck. "Show me." The main screen lit up with a massive structure that hadn't been there moments before. It seemed to fade into existence like a ghost, its surface gleaming with a silvery blue light. The structure was easily 10 times the size of the Intrepid. "Some kind of cloaking technology," muttered Susan Cooper, the ship's lead engineer. Her fingers flew across her console. "These energy readings are off the charts." Before Diana could respond, every screen on the bridge flickered. A face appeared, if you could call it that. The being had 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern, scaled skin that shifted colors like oil on water, and what looked like tentacles where a mouth should be. "Primitive vessels," the alien spoke in perfect English, its tentacles moving in disturbing patterns. "You have entered space belonging to the Galactic Council. Prepare for evaluation and processing." Diana stepped forward. "This is Captain Diana Morris of the U.S. Intrepid. We represent Earth and humanity. We come in peace and wish to establish diplomatic." Silence. The alien cut her off. "Your species has not been approved for space travel. According to Protocol 7249, all primitive species must submit to Council authority for proper development and guidance. Your immediate surrender is required." The bridge crew exchanged looks of disbelief. Robert Hayes spoke up from his station. "Captain, I'm detecting multiple ships dropping out of some kind of faster-than-light travel. They're everywhere." Diana watched as the tactical display filled with red dots. Dozens of ships, then hundreds, appearing in a sphere around Earth's solar system. Her heart sank, but her voice remained steady. "We are not a primitive species," she stated firmly. "Humanity has earned its place among the stars. We won't surrender our sovereignty." The alien's colors darkened to a deep purple. "You mistake this for a negotiation. The Council has spoken. You have 48 of your Earth hours to submit to our authority. After that, we will begin cleansing protocols." The screen went dark. Diana turned to her crew, seeing the mix of fear and determination on their faces. She hit the ship-wide comm button. "All hands, this is the captain speaking. What we've discovered today changes everything. There is life out there among the stars, but they're not friendly. In 2 days, they plan to attack Earth. They expect us to kneel." She paused, letting her words sink in. "We will not kneel. We will not surrender. Humanity has fought too hard and come too far to submit to tyranny, whether it comes from Earth or the stars." She looked at her crew, meeting each pair of eyes. "Battle stations, we're heading home to warn Earth. And if these Council aliens want to fight, we'll show them why humanity has survived everything our world has thrown at us." The bridge erupted into activity. Engineer Cooper was already modifying their engines for maximum speed. Lieutenant Hayes coordinated with Earth's Defense Command. Through it all, Diana watched the tactical display, noting how the alien ships moved and positioned themselves. "They think we're primitive," she said quietly to her first officer, Commander Jack Miller. "That's their first mistake." Miller nodded grimly. "Won't be their last, Captain." The Intrepid's engines roared to life, pushing the massive ship towards Earth. Behind them, the Council's outpost shimmered and vanished again, but Diana knew this was just the beginning. Humanity had 48 hours to prepare for war. As they approached Earth's orbit, Diana thought about humanity's history. Every time someone had tried to conquer them, humanity had fought back. They'd survived ice ages, plagues, world wars, and their own near destruction of Earth's climate. Now they faced their greatest challenge, an alien empire that saw them as primitives to be conquered or destroyed. Diana allowed herself a small smile. The Council was about to learn a very important lesson about underestimating humanity. Admiral William Clark stood in Earth's Global Defense Command Center, watching as thousands of red dots appeared on the massive screen before him. Each dot represented a Council warship. The room hummed with urgent activity as military personnel from every nation worked together, preparing for humanity's first interstellar war. "Status report," he commanded, his voice cutting through the noise. A young officer spoke up. "Sir, we've mobilized every ship we have. 36 orbital defense platforms are online. Ground-based laser arrays are charged and ready." The admiral nodded, but he knew it wouldn't be enough. The Council's fleet outnumbered them 20 to 1. Their technology was centuries ahead of Earth's, but humanity hadn't survived this long by giving up. Aboard the U.S. Intrepid, engineer Susan Cooper rushed through the crowded halls, clutching a tablet computer. She'd been working nonstop since their return from Jupiter, and finally, she had something that might give them a chance. Captain Morris. Susan burst onto the bridge, her normally neat uniform wrinkled from hours in the engineering bay. "I've got it. The Council ships, their shields have a pattern." Diana turned from her tactical display. "Explain." "When we scanned their outpost, I noticed something in their shield harmonics. They're perfect, too perfect. Their shields work in exact mathematical patterns." Susan's eyes gleamed with excitement. "So I designed a countermeasure. It's not perfect, but it might keep us alive longer." Before Diana could respond, alarms blared throughout the ship. Lieutenant Hayes' voice rang out. "Multiple ships dropping out of FTL. They're not waiting for the deadline." The massive view screen showed Council warships appearing everywhere. Their sleek, silver hulls gleamed in the sunlight as they moved into attack formation. "Cooper, upload your shield modifications to the fleet," Diana ordered. "All hands to battle stations." The first shots of the war lit up Earth's orbit like new stars being born. Council energy weapons slammed into Earth's defense platforms, but humanity wasn't helpless. Return fire from ground-based lasers and orbital guns turned 3 Council ships into expanding clouds of debris. Shield modifications uploaded. Susan shouted over the noise of battle. "They're working. Our ships are taking hits but holding." The battle raged for hours. Human ships fought with everything they had, using Earth's orbit and the moon for cover. The Council's superior technology was matched against human determination and creativity. But slowly, inevitably, Earth's defenses began to fail. One by one, the orbital platforms went dark. Human ships, despite their enhanced shields, couldn't stand up to repeated hits from the Council's weapons. The Intrepid shuddered as another blast rocked the ship. "Damage report," Diana called out, steadying herself against her chair. "Decks 5 through 8 are breached." Commander Miller responded. "We're losing power to the main guns. 8 ships down, 4 more heavily damaged. We're the last capital ship still fighting." Diana looked at the tactical display. The Council fleet had lost ships too, more than they probably expected, but they still had overwhelming numbers. Earth's ground defenses were holding, but without the orbital fleet, they wouldn't last long. "Cooper," Diana turned to her engineer. "You said their shields were too perfect. Could we use that against them?" Susan's eyes widened as she caught the captain's meaning. Yes. Their shields work on exact mathematical formulas. If we could disrupt that pattern somehow, like introducing chaos into their perfect system." Diana smiled grimly. "How long would you need?" "Give me 2 hours." "But Captain," Susan hesitated, "we'll need to get close. Really close. Like suicide mission close." Diana looked around her bridge. She saw determination in every face, even though they all knew what really close meant. They were humanity's last functional capital ship. But sometimes, survival meant taking impossible risks. "Send word to Admiral Clark," Diana ordered. Tell him to focus everything on keeping Earth's ground defenses alive. The Intrepid is going hunting." As the crew rushed to their tasks, Diana watched the Council ships moving in their perfect formations with their perfect shields. They thought their technology made them invincible. They thought humanity would be an easy conquest. They were about to learn that humanity's greatest weapon wasn't their technology or their ships. It was their refusal to give up, their ability to find ways to win even when victory seemed impossible. The Intrepid turned away from Earth, its damaged hull still smoking from battle damage. They had 2 hours to turn Susan's discovery into a weapon. 2 hours to save humanity. The real fight was about to begin. Commander Jack Miller stood in the Intrepid's engineering bay, watching Susan Cooper and her team work frantically on their new weapon. The ship's engines hummed quietly as they hid behind Earth's moon, buying precious time to prepare their counterattack. "Think about it like a glass," Susan explained, pointing to her computer screen. "A perfect crystal glass will shatter if you hit just the right note. The Council's shields are like that, too perfect for their own good." Jack watched the simulation on her screen. "And you're sure this will work?" "No," Susan admitted, "but it's the best chance we've got." On the bridge, Captain Diana Morris received updates from Earth. The ground defenses were holding, barely. The Council ships had stopped their direct assault and now circled the planet like hungry sharks, waiting for the defenses to weaken. "Captain," Emma Foster, the tactical officer, called out suddenly, "I think I've found something. The Council ships, they always attack in the same patterns. It's like they're following a rulebook." Diana moved to Emma's station. "Explain." "Look here," Emma pointed to recordings of the earlier battle. "They never adapt, never change tactics. When we do something unexpected, they take exactly 8.2 seconds to respond, every single time." Diana's eyes widened. "They rely too much on their computers, on perfect calculations." "Exactly," Emma nodded eagerly. "They fight like machines, but we fight like humans." The intercom buzzed. "Captain," Susan's voice came through. "We're ready. But there's a catch. We need to get within 1 kilometer of a Council ship for this to work." 1 kilometer. Lieutenant Hayes gasped. "That's practically touching distance in space combat." Diana stood silent for a moment, thinking. Then she hit the ship-wide comm. "All hands, this is the captain. In 10 minutes, we're going to do something incredibly dangerous and possibly stupid. But that's what humans do best. We break rules. We do the impossible. Anyone who wants to leave, head to the escape pods now. No shame, no blame." She waited a full minute. No one moved. Right then, Diana smiled. "Let's go hunting." The Intrepid powered up, moving out from behind the moon. Their target was a Council command ship, larger than the others, and coordinating the attack on Earth's defenses. "They've spotted us," Hayes reported. 3 ships moving to intercept." "Perfect," Diana said. "Emma, show them what humans can do." Emma's hands flew across her console. The Intrepid's engines fired in ways they were never designed for, making the ship dance through space like a leaf in the wind. No patterns, no perfect calculations, just pure human instinct and skill. The Council ships fired, their shots missing as the Intrepid moved unpredictably. When they adjusted their aim, the human ship was already somewhere else. 8.2 seconds. Emma muttered, counting down. "Now." The Intrepid suddenly reversed direction, shooting straight toward the nearest Council ship while it was still following its programmed response pattern. The alien vessel's perfect shields glowed as the Intrepid closed the distance. "Half a kilometer," Hayes shouted. Susan's voice came over the comm. "Activating disruption field now." The Intrepid's new weapon powered up. It didn't fire energy beams or missiles. Instead, it broadcast a signal. Chaotic, random, human. The signal hit the Council ship's shields and bounced between them, multiplying, growing stronger. The effect was instant. The perfect mathematical patterns in the alien shields tried to compensate, tried to find order in chaos. And like a crystal glass hitting the perfect note, they shattered. Direct hit, Emma reported with joy. Their shields are down. All weapons, fire, Diana commanded. The Intrepid's guns roared to life, tearing into the now unprotected Council ship. In seconds, the alien vessel broke apart, its perfect design no match for human weaponry once its shields were gone. The other Council ships paused for their precious 8.2 seconds, trying to compute what had happened. By then, the Intrepid was already moving toward its next target. Send the data to Earth, Diana ordered. Tell them to start broadcasting random signals on all frequencies. Let's give these perfect aliens a taste of human chaos. As the Intrepid continued its attack, more Council ships fell. Their perfect shields failed against humanity's purposeful chaos. Their rigid tactics broke against human unpredictability. Captain, Jack Miller said quietly from his station, "The Council command ship is pulling back. They're retreating." The bridge crew cheered, but Diana raised her hand for silence. "No, we're not letting them go. Not after what they tried to do to Earth." She turned to Susan. "How's our new weapon holding up?" "Ready for more, Captain," Susan grinned. "Should we show them what else humans can do?" Diana nodded, a determined smile on her face. "Plot a course to follow that command ship. I think it's time we took the fight to them." The Intrepid turned away from Earth, its engines glowing bright as it chased the retreating Council vessels. The counterattack had begun, and humanity was about to show the galaxy why you should never underestimate the power of human chaos. The U.S. Intrepid chased the fleeing Council ships through space, following them as they jumped from system to system. In the ship's communications center, Officer Peter Martinez worked tirelessly to decode the stream of alien transmissions they were intercepting. "They're scared," Peter said, looking up from his station. "These messages, they're not just military commands anymore. They're arguing with each other." Captain Diana Morris stood behind him, reading the translations. "Can you clean up the signal more?" "Already done," Peter smiled. "Dr. Reynolds' AI system is helping me crack their codes faster than they can change them." In the AI core room, Dr. Alice Reynolds watched as her creation processed the Council's communications. The AI, nicknamed Nova, had learned more about the Council in days than humans had discovered in their first contact. "Captain," Alice called over the comm, "Nova has found something interesting. The Council species aren't united. Some of them think attacking Earth was a mistake." The Intrepid followed the Council ships through another jump point. This time, they emerged in a bustling alien system. Hundreds of ships moved between planets and stations, but they scattered like startled fish when the human warship appeared. Multiple Council ships moving to defensive positions, Lieutenant Hayes reported from his tactical station. "But something's different. Their formations, they're not as perfect as before." Diana watched the tactical display. "They're afraid. They've never had their perfect shields fail before, never had their perfect tactics beaten." Suddenly, a new transmission cut through their communications. The message was in perfect English, but the voice was different from the first Council contact. "Human vessel," the voice said, "I am Representative Zix of the Arvani. My species questions the Council's wisdom in attacking Earth. We request dialogue." The bridge crew looked at Diana. This could be a trap, but it could also be their chance to split the Council apart. "Representative," Diana responded carefully, "we're listening." "The Council's leadership has grown arrogant," Zix explained. "Many of us questioned the attack on Earth, but we were ignored. Now you have proven their perfect systems can fail. Some of us believe change is needed." Diana smiled. "And what kind of change would that be?" "The Council rules from their Citadel," Zix said. "A great station, hidden and protected. But I can provide its location. In return, we ask only that you remember who helped you when the time comes." Engineer Susan Cooper spoke up from her station. Captain, with their location data, we could modify our shield breaker to work on their entire defense network. Diana considered their options. The Intrepid was now deep in Council space. They could turn back, having proven humans couldn't be conquered easily. Or they could press on, take the fight to the Council's heart, and change the galaxy forever. Send the coordinates, Diana told Zix, and spread the word to other species who might want to see change. The Council is about to learn another human lesson. We don't stop halfway. As the coordinates came in, Dr. Reynolds and Nova analyzed them for traps. Officer Martinez decoded more transmissions, learning about growing unrest in the Council's ranks. The myth of their perfection had been broken, and now cracks were spreading through their entire empire. Course plotted to the Citadel, Commander Jack Miller reported. It's huge, Captain. Early scans show it's bigger than anything we've ever seen. Good thing we humans like a challenge, Diana replied. She opened the ship-wide comm. All hands, this is the captain. We've learned two important things about the Council. First, they're not as perfect as they pretend to be. Second, they're not as united as they want everyone to believe. She paused, looking at the star map showing their course to the Citadel. We came out here to defend Earth. But now we have a chance to do more. To free other species from the Council's control. To prove that humanity deserves its place among the stars. The crew's response was immediate. Cheers echoed through the ship's corridors. The Intrepid's engines powered up, ready for another jump. Nova has mapped the safest route, Dr. Reynolds reported. We can avoid most patrol areas. Set course, Diana commanded. It's time to show the Council what happens when they push humanity too far. The Intrepid disappeared into another jump point, heading deeper into Council space. Behind them, spreading through secret channels and hidden messages, word began to spread. The perfect Council had failed. Their unbeatable shields had broken. And now, a single human ship was hunting them. The journey to the Citadel had begun, and with it, the chance to change the galaxy forever. The U.S. Intrepid dropped out of faster-than-light travel near the Nexus, a massive space station where all major Council trade routes met. Lieutenant Rachel Thompson's stealth modifications hummed quietly, keeping them hidden from the station's sensors. 17 Council warships detected, Lieutenant Hayes reported from his station, plus dozens of smaller vessels. The station's defenses are stronger than anything we've seen before. Captain Diana Morris studied the massive structure before them. The Nexus looked like a giant metal snowflake, its arms stretching out for kilometers. This was their last stop before the Citadel itself. Security teams ready, Chief Daniel Wilson reported. His teams of Marines waited in their assault ships, ready for their most dangerous mission yet. Diana nodded. Begin Operation Chaos. The Intrepid's new weapons powered up. Instead of attacking the station directly, they fired special devices that Rachel had designed. The small pods scattered across the space around the Nexus, looking like harmless debris. Pods in position, Rachel announced. Ready to activate on your command. Diana watched the Council ships patrol in their perfect patterns. Now, the pods activated all at once. They didn't explode or attack. They simply broadcast random signals, human music, radio shows, and nonsense data. The Council's perfect sensor network tried to analyze everything at once, overwhelming their systems. Alarms blared across the Nexus as its computers struggled to process the chaos. Council ships broke formation, their crews confused by conflicting data. Their defense grid is down, Hayes called out. They can't tell what's real and what's not. All teams go, Diana commanded. The Intrepid suddenly appeared in the middle of the confused Council fleet. Its weapons targeted the nearest ships while Daniel's assault teams launched toward the station. Shield breakers active, Susan Cooper reported from engineering. The Council ship's perfect shields shattered one after another, unable to handle the random patterns Susan had designed. Inside the Nexus, Daniel led his teams through the corridors. The station's alien defenders were in chaos, their perfect battle plans useless against humans who didn't follow any predictable patterns. Main control room secured. Daniel reported over the comm. Dr. Reynolds, we need Nova here now. Alice Reynolds connected Nova to the Nexus's computer systems. The AI began downloading everything: defense plans, ship movements, and most importantly, the exact location of the Council's Citadel. Multiple Council ships jumping in. Hayes warned. They're trying to trap us. Diana smiled. Just as we planned. Rachel, show them your other surprise. Rachel activated her final weapon. The debris field around the Nexus suddenly came alive with hundreds of false sensor readings. To the arriving Council ships, it looked like they were facing an entire human fleet. They're falling back, Emma Foster reported from Tactical. They won't risk fighting what they think is a major human attack force. In the control room, Nova finished its work. Download complete, Alice announced. We have everything, including the Citadel's defensive blueprints. Diana opened a channel to the entire station. Attention all species on the Nexus. The Council's perfect system has failed. Their unbeatable defenses are broken. Any ship that wants to leave may do so now. Anyone who wants to join us in ending the Council's rule is welcome. The response was immediate. Dozens of ships began powering up, their crews finally free to escape Council control. Many of them were from species that had helped the Intrepid in secret. Daniel, plant the charges and get your teams back, Diana ordered. It's time to send the Council another message. The human Marines retreated to their ships, leaving behind devices throughout the station. Not bombs. They were more of Susan's chaos generators, permanently programmed to disrupt any attempt to restore the station's perfect systems. All teams aboard, Daniel reported as the last assault ship docked. The Nexus is officially useless to them now. Diana looked at the tactical display, showing the coordinate data they'd stolen. The Citadel's location glowed like a beacon, no longer hidden from them. Send word to all our new allies, she commanded. Tell them to spread the word through every system, every species under Council control. Humanity isn't just fighting back. We're going to end the Council's power forever. The Intrepid turned away from the crippled Nexus, its engines glowing bright as it prepared for another jump. Behind them, the station's perfect systems continued to fail, its computers overwhelmed by human chaos. Course laid in for the Citadel, Commander Miller reported. We'll be there in 6 hours. Diana watched the Council ships scatter, running from what they thought was a massive human fleet. The Council thought they could beat us with their perfect technology, she said quietly. Instead, they're about to learn the most important lesson about humanity. We don't just survive, we win. The Intrepid disappeared into another jump point, heading for its final target. The battle of the Nexus was over. The battle for the Citadel was about to begin. The Citadel hung in space like a massive crown, its spires reaching out into the void. The U.S. Intrepid emerged from its jump point, just outside the Citadel's sensor range. For a moment, the entire crew stood in awe of its size. That thing's bigger than New York City, Commander Jack Miller whispered. Captain Diana Morris stood from her chair. Final status report. Shield breakers at full power, Susan Cooper reported from engineering. And I've got a surprise for them. We can now broadcast our chaos field through their own communication networks. Nova has infiltrated their outer defense systems, Dr. Alice Reynolds added. They still think their networks are secure. Lieutenant Hayes studied his sensors. 300 Council ships guarding the Citadel. They've called in everything they have left. Diana opened the ship-wide comm. All hands, this is the captain. In 5 minutes, we're going to attack the heart of the Council's power. They think their perfect fortress is unbeatable. They think one human ship can't possibly threaten them. She paused. Let's prove them wrong. The Intrepid's engines roared to life. As they approached, the Council's defense fleet moved to intercept them in perfect, practiced formations. They're broadcasting a message, Officer Peter Martinez reported. They're laughing at us, calling us primitive fools. Perfect, Diana smiled. Send the signal. Nova activated inside the Citadel's networks. Suddenly, every screen, every computer system began displaying random human data. News broadcasts, music videos, cat pictures, pure chaos flooding their perfect systems. Their network is crashing. Alice called out. Main defense grid is down. The Council fleet's perfect formation broke apart as conflicting orders filled their communications. Some ships tried to maintain position, while others started random maneuvers. Now, Susan, Diana commanded. Susan activated their improved shield breaker. But this time, it didn't just target one ship. The signal bounced through the Council's own communication network, spreading like a virus. Ship after ship lost their perfect shields. All weapons, fire at will, Diana ordered. The Intrepid's guns blazed. Without their shields, the Council ships proved surprisingly fragile. Their perfect designs had never considered fighting without protection. Multiple ships approaching from behind, Hayes warned. But these weren't Council vessels. Ships of all different designs dropped out of faster-than-light travel, the allies they'd made during their journey, species tired of Council control. This is Representative Zix. A familiar voice came through the comm. We heard there was a party. Mind if we join in? The battle erupted into complete chaos. Council ships fired at random, unable to coordinate through their disrupted networks. Allied ships attacked from all directions, using tactics the Council had never seen before. Security teams ready, Chief Daniel Wilson reported from the assault bay. We can board the Citadel as soon as you give the word. Diana watched as another group of Council ships lost their shields. Take us in closer, right up to their front door. The Intrepid pushed through the battle, its enhanced shields holding against the scattered fire. The massive ship looked tiny next to the Citadel's walls, like a boat next to a mountain. Direct hit on their main docking bay. Emma Foster reported from Tactical. We've got an opening. All security teams, launch. Diana commanded. Dr. Reynolds, time to show them what else Nova can do. As Daniel's Marines stormed the Citadel, Nova spread deeper into its systems. The AI found and released files showing the Council's lies, their manipulation of other species, their suppression of technological advancement. Everything broadcast to every species in their territory. The Council leaders are trying to evacuate, Peter reported, monitoring internal communications. They're running. Not today, Diana said firmly. Security teams converge on their escape routes. It's time they face justice for what they've done. The battle raged for hours, but the outcome was never in doubt. Without their perfect systems, without their unbeatable shields, the Council's power crumbled. Ship by ship, deck by deck, their control slipped away. Finally, Daniel's voice came over the comm. Council chamber secured, Captain. Their leaders are in custody. The Citadel is ours. A cheer went up throughout the Intrepid. Diana stood at her view screen, watching Allied ships secure the surrounding space, while Council vessels either surrendered or fled. Send word to Earth, she ordered. Tell them. She smiled, looking at her crew's proud faces. Tell them humanity just changed the galaxy. The Citadel's perfect halls echoed with human footsteps as Diana's crew moved to secure their victory. The Council's rule was over. A new age was about to begin. 3 months after the Battle of the Citadel, Captain Diana Morris stood in what was once the Council's grand chamber. The room had changed. Gone were the towering thrones where Council leaders once looked down on others. Now, representatives from 50 different species sat together as equals around a circular table. The last Council Loyalist fleet surrendered this morning, Commander Jack Miller reported. The war is officially over. Diana nodded, watching alien diplomats discuss trade agreements and mutual defense pacts. Among them sat Admiral William Clark, Earth's representative to the new Galactic Alliance. Hard to believe one ship changed everything, Susan Cooper said, joining them. The engineer had spent weeks teaching other species how to protect themselves against the Council's perfect but flawed technology. Not just one ship, Diana corrected her. One crew, one team. In another part of the Citadel, Dr. Alice Reynolds and Nova worked with alien scientists, sharing knowledge that the Council had kept hidden for centuries. The AI had become a bridge between species, helping them understand each other better. "Did you see the latest reports from Earth?" Peter Martinez asked, holding up his tablet. "They're calling the Intrepid the ship that changed the stars. There are kids making models of it." Diana smiled. The Intrepid had become more than just a ship. It was a symbol of hope, a reminder that even the most powerful empire could fall when faced with human determination. "Captain," Lieutenant Rachel Thompson called from her new security station. "The first group of human colonists just arrived at Alpha Centauri. The Arvani are helping them set up their first off-world colony." This was what victory really meant. Humanity was no longer confined to one solar system. They were free to explore, to grow, to reach for the stars without fear. Chief Daniel Wilson entered the chamber, leading a group of mixed-species security teams. Humans worked alongside former Council races, teaching each other new ways to fight, to protect, to work together. "The prisoners want to speak with you, Captain," Daniel reported. The former Council leaders, now awaiting trial for their crimes, had finally asked for a meeting. Diana followed Daniel to the detention center. The once proud Council leaders looked small now, their perfect uniforms wrinkled, their arrogance replaced with defeat. "You were right," one of them said as Diana approached. "We became too perfect, too rigid. We forgot how to adapt, how to change." "That was your first mistake," Diana replied. "Your second was thinking that being older meant being better. Humanity is young, yes. But that means we're still learning, still growing, still willing to try new things." She turned to leave, then paused. "You wanted to guide younger species. Maybe now you can learn from them instead." Back in the Grand Chamber, Emma Foster was showing a group of alien tactical officers how to think unpredictably, how to fight without relying on perfect patterns. "The galaxy's changing fast," Commander Miller observed as Diana rejoined him. "A lot of species are looking to humanity for leadership." "Not leadership," Diana corrected. "Partnership. The Council failed because they thought they had to control everything. We'll succeed by working together, by combining the best of all our species." Suddenly, alarms blared through the Citadel. Diana rushed to the command center, her heart racing. Had they missed something? Was there another threat? But Lieutenant Hayes was smiling as he looked up from his station. "Long-range sensors just picked up something incredible. There's another galaxy sending us signals. They want to talk." Diana looked at the data streaming in. A whole new galaxy of species, of possibilities, of challenges to overcome. She opened a channel to the Intrepid, still proudly docked at the Citadel. "All hands, prepare for departure," she ordered. "Looks like we got more exploring to do." As her crew rushed to their stations, Diana thought about how far they'd come. 3 months ago, they'd been fighting for Earth's survival. Now they were about to lead an expedition to contact another galaxy. The Council had thought their perfect system would last forever. Instead, human chaos had torn it down and built something better. A galaxy where all species could grow, learn, and explore together. The U.S. Intrepid's engines powered up, ready for another adventure. Behind them, the Citadel wasn't just a symbol of power anymore. It was a place of cooperation, of innovation, of new beginnings. Humanity had proven itself among the stars. And now, they were ready to show a whole new galaxy what humans could do. "Take us out," Diana commanded. "Let's see what else is out there." The Intrepid moved away from the Citadel, heading toward new adventures, new challenges, and new ways to prove that sometimes the most perfect solution was a little bit of human chaos.